Welcome back, everybody, to the Last Meg podcast episode. I'm your host, Primal. In today's episode, I am going to be breaking down the Week 6 matches, as well as we're going to be I will be power ranking all the teams going to DreamHack Birmingham, aka Major 2. So, guys, thank you so much for 2,000 subscribers. I greatly appreciate it. And we've already hit 2.02 subs or 20 subs on top of 2,000. So you guys have been blowing the subscriber count and like button out of the water. So thank you so much, guys. And I appreciate every single one of you who have been supporting the channel. So let's crack on into the podcast episode. So start going into Friday. We actually had a beautiful Friday for matches. So for predictions as well for matches as well. So let's talk about Gelmates. They come out, steal map one. In really FaZe was dead asleep, it looked like on the map one. Map two was a dominant, and I do mean dominant S&D. So FaZe tie score up 1-1 in series. Then we go to an exposure overload. This goes, ladies and gentlemen, all the way to a sudden death of 5-5. Now, 5-5 is a very high scoring game. And now if you guys haven't seen the highlight of the 5-5 over sudden death fight, make sure you go check it out on the VOD for the series. It was absolutely banger. And FaZe, they just confidently just walk away with it. It's like, oh my gosh. Now, going into the Den hardpoint on map 4, this one was an absolutely insane comeback. Like, I thought FaZe was about to literally make probably one of the most insane hardpoint comebacks of the year. Like, literally. I think it was like 160 or 170 in point wise, and Gelmates were just leading significantly. And FaZe, they just start doing a massive rally on the points and stuff. And it goes all the way to, I think, a P3. And it was on your far right side of the map. It was connector between dojo and stuff, and it was a 235. I'm like, oh my gosh, if FaZe breaks this, they win it. I'm losing my marbles. Like, no way this happens. It then goes down to, I think, 247 to 250, but hardpoint win in favor of Gelmates, and I'm like, okay, that was an insane map to watch. Just because FaZe's hardpoint was definitely scary after their map 1 fumble slash not really existing. But still, dang. Absolute powerhouse, I will say. Then in map 5, it was complete takeover by FaZe. Gelmates, they fumble again. So, yeah. And Carolina versus Cloud9. Cloud9 take the search and destroy, but they can't compete with Raven's respawns. Raven just looked comfortable in the respawns, and it did go to, I believe, around 10 or 11 in search and destroy, so close series for map 2 for them. Ravens, they get done in a 3-1 fashion, and I will say Lurks was popping off, like serious pop off. If Ravens need to blow it up if they don't place well for Major 2, you guys need to keep Lurks. Like, that guy is absolutely nasty and insane. And we will get to Saturday in a second. So G2 versus Surge. G2 just came out and bully stomped the living sin out of G2, and I was just losing my marbles. I was like, Yes, let's go. It was just a complete bully stompage of a map series. And we actually got 11 out of 12 points possible. If we had predicted G2, we would have had a perfect day, and that would have been insane. Now, let's talk about Saturday, because Saturday was a major upset slash I whiffed on one of my predictions and should have just gone with the majority, but I went with my gut on it. So Carolina this series was Carolina, they go up 2-0 in this series, and then Heretics confidently take back maps 3 and do an insane, and I do mean insane, hardpoint counter on the Blackheart to get to game 5. But however, in game 5, Ravens just run away with it. Like, there were moments in game 5 where Heretics should have capitalized, but they didn't, and it showed in certain ways. So we whiffed there, and let's talk about the rest of the matches. Cloud9 versus FaZe. FaZe 3-0 stomps them like it wasn't even close. Like, masterclass by FaZe. They just look scary again, and they are on a 3-game win streak going into Major 2. So, yeah. Alright, OpTic versus Real. Now, this was also a major upset. Now, I should have called for a Pred upset, but I didn't really see it just because I thought, okay, the OpTic boys aren't going to be trolling or anything, but oh dear. OpTic take map 1, and then, which was a close map 1, mind you, and then Riyadh rip the next 3 maps in a row, and I'm just staring in horror at what Falcons did to OpTic. And we have seen this happen to OpTic before this year, where OpTic will come out and steal map 1, and then, well, take map 1, and then their opponent will literally rip the next 3 maps off of it, making OpTic look like they've got no signs of life whatsoever. And finally, G2 versus Thieves. This was just a masterclass by Thieves, like straight up takeover. If G2 had been able to take map 1 for hardpoint wise, we might have gone to map 4, and who knows what would have happened. But Thieves, they get done in a convincing 3-0 fashion. I should have just gone with Thieves, but it's like when you watch Thieves, it's like they play up and down to their opponents, it feels like, or that Hydra and Abizi chemistry wasn't cooking well. But they did get done, and when we get to Sunday, I'll talk more about them. Now, this was, if I could have taken back the points for G2, I would have. But let's talk about Sunday, right? Riyadh versus Surge. Major upset. Surge upsets Riyadh in game 5, and it blew my mind away when I was listening to the series while mowing the grass, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, yeah. Falcons just struggled in the search and destroys. Respawns are strong, but search and destroys for Falcons can be a bit of a stinker. Next, Thieves versus Jailmates. Okay, now this is a very controversial one. So Thieves, they come out. Well, it did go to game 5. Okay, basically, this series had some major controversy behind it because Ghosty was seen in his player cam looking higher than a kite. And I'm not sure if he was sick, stressed, not enough sleep, high on something, doing something illegal, but we've seen this before. It's like in the MW3 season, Illy was with the famous Illy interview with on the main stage. I think it was it was Major 1. It's like Illy was definitely on something. People say he had too much Adderall. People were calling him Illy the Pilly. Now my thought questions are and stuff is, was Dan Ghosty not? It's like we need to see Dan Ghosty in his prime form. We don't need to see a form of Ghosty where he's literally whiffing and all and not getting not asserting his presence on the map and getting the kills he needs. And in tomorrow's video, when I break down the bracket, get my thoughts and all, I'll tell you guys what I'm thinking. So, yeah. Now, Boston Breach, they go up and play Heretics, and now at this point, Surge has literally secured their spot as the 10th seed, I think, for Major 2. So, Breach, they are no longer going to Major 2. So, it's like you're literally playing for your spot on the team. And this was a absolute masterclass slammage, not even close of a series. Heretics just run away with the map, and there's nothing that that Breach could really do. It's like Super was taken over. You had every single one of the Heretics members taken over at that time throughout the series, and it was just dominant. Now, for the final series of the night, we had OpTic Texas versus Koi, Toronto Koi. If Koi bottom out and don't get to the to top 6 of after they're playing, there needs to be some serious conversations, because in this series, it was a 250 to 215 hardpoint win for, I almost said it, FaZe OpTic. Now this was honestly a bit of a what the heck is going on. When you get into Search and Destroy on Raid, you literally had Shotzi holding Kips hostage in the series, and I was just losing my mind, because it's like, if you're on defense for Raid, you always watch. It's like if you have someone in courtyard or in basketball court, you always have someone watching at the top of stairs for court on basketball area, or you literally just, yeah, the I was just shaking my head, because Koi just looked not good in series. And then when we got into the overload, which was on Scar, it was insanity. I was just mind blown. So yeah, it's like you literally had OpTic bully balling Toronto, as well as let me see here. Yeah, you also had Heretics bowling Breach, and it was on Scar too. It was not even close of a series. And then that seals off the last qualifier for Major 2. So let's get into the power rankings, and I will talk about it. Alright, so I have adjusted the power rankings in accordance to Major 2, as well as for teams that will and will not be going. So as you can see in the bottom part, in the bottom of the screen, I've got Boston Breach and Cloud9 not in the rankings, because those teams will not be going to Major 2. So let's crack on into it. So I'm just going to go through the categories I have. Sunday regulars are who I think are going to win The tournament contenders are who I think will be fighting to try and get to Championship Sunday. Dark Horse is who I think could potentially make a run at Major 2. Confused is chemistry's not clicking or missing pieces potentially. And below it up means that they need to just make a roster change. So let's crack on into it. So at the bottom, Vancouver with their upset over this past weekend, I just don't see them seriously making a run at the tournament. Like, they haven't really proven to me that they can. Just because they literally had to rely on an upset and pray for Boston Breach's downfall to really secure a spot for Major 2. So, yeah. Carolina Royal Ravens, it's like, yeah, they have been known to upset major teams and all at the tournament. Well, during qualifiers and stuff, but that's online. This is land. There's a major difference. And my thought process is if you can't make it all fit and click, then what are you guys doing? Like, something needs to seriously change. So when I do the bracket tomorrow, I'll be giving you guys my analytical mind. I'll be breaking down the stats and all for each team and where they all fit into the puzzle for Major 2. So let's crack on into it. So Jailmates, they lose both of their series this past weekend to FaZe and to Thieves, and if with the whole controversy of the Thieves versus Jailmates series, it has me concerned for the team. Like, how's this team going to mesh well? I know Payback and I were talking about it. Like, there's going to be highs and lows and inconsistencies with the team, but my thought process is if you can't make it fit or make it work, who do you drop? It's like, personally, if it was me, if I was Jim, I'd probably be looking at Envoy because Envoy's been having stinker performances like 0.8, 0.9, 1.0. KD, not that consistent 1.0 or better that we know him for. So that is just my thoughts. Now, when we get over to now let's move up to Dark Horse. So Toronto, Riyadh, and Thieves. Hold on a second. Let me double check something. Sorry guys, I was double checking something. I lost my train of thought of what I was looking for. So I was double checking the bracket online, and we will have 2 streams. We'll have Alpha, we'll have Bravo, 3 matches per stream. So Friday is going to be when the matches kick off. They'll kick off at 11 a.m. EST. I'm going to do my best to be up before the streams happen, and I know I'm going to be live streaming that day, so I'm going to do my best, guys, to get streams done before the stream done before then. So, yep. Overall, I'll discuss more about the bracket once the bracket goes live because right now I cannot do the bracket. So, yep, that is the case. All right, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button. I'll see you tomorrow for my bracket prediction, guys. Peace out.